Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Gongsmen TV.
Yep.
Yeah, Charlie. It's been a great week. Again, I would say we appreciate the support. Everybody watching our videos, liking, sharing, subscribing, and putting in their comments. We want to say a big thank you to everybody.
Yeah.
Today,
Amazing.
it's
been great. I mean,
today we are exploring a very interesting topic, at least to us, right? Because
and I'm sure to a lot of people out there.
Yes.
Everybody is trying to do what will help.
And the topic is immigration. And if you've listened to the news in Ghana, and I suppose in some of the other African countries, there are a lot of people that are leaving. Some people think that there's been a spike in people leaving.
Right.
I've seen some news reports or at the Canadian embassy or something like that where they do the fingerprinting, where there are long queues of people.
Yeah, I saw that actually. I wasn't really surprised, but when you see it like that,
it's
you're
like, wow, that's a lot.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
I understand it though. Yeah.
And then there's been nurses, for example, health workers are living in droves. Ghana are living in droves. Been multiple reports
going to the UK, and some do come here in the US maybe.
Yeah. So we thought we would explore the topic of immigration, right? Seeing as the two of us are not currently in Ghana and we are living outside of Ghana, we wanted to go into the topic of immigration. Essentially, this is going to be a series. We're going to look at like so many aspects of immigration. Why are people leaving?
Right.
What are they doing?
Like, what is it even like? Like, at what point do you decide that, okay, I think I want to travel, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then how do you even see possibilities of, okay, maybe I could use this approach. Or use that approach, and then walk people through, okay, let's say now you got yourself a visa, right?
Yeah.
Congrats. You got yourself on a plane, like that whole process of, because sometimes people be like, oh, wow, you're going to say the UK, wow, I'm so happy for you, right? But from the person traveling's perspective, it's not necessarily always that case, right? Because of course you're leaving your family behind and all that. So what this series would really capture from that point, right, all the way through the transition. Once you arrive, what happens right?
Yeah.
Are there any shocks? What did you learn that surprised you, for instance, right? And how did are you even thriving once you arrive? And
there's a big assumption. People just assume that you thrive.
It's not always the case. And then we'll go into like, okay, when people come abroad, like what are some of the things they do, right? Some of course go into education, some jump into work, some set up their own businesses, right? We have stories that will be coming up featuring some of those. And so like, how do you even do it? How do you set up a business in a foreign land, right? And then, there are folks who, we had those plans. I hope those plans are still on the table. Go back someday.
Oh yeah. Definitely. We have to explore that.
Yeah, how it's very it's easier to say, right? But what is like a practical transition back home? What does it look like? And people have done it. So, we also do stories featuring people and their experiences. So much more packed into this series.
So this is we are. I don't know if we are promising, but hopefully this is engaging. This is interesting content for you. A little bit away from our political stuff that we've dealt with in the past, but we also want to give you a diverse array of topics, right? So that's what the channel is really about. Yeah. Making sure that you are informed, that you are also entertained about interesting topics.
Yeah, and if you love the series, just let us know in the comments. And if there are other aspects that you'd like us to cover, because we plan to also interview people, right? They share real life experiences. So all of that is coming your way. If you have some areas, maybe how do you even check your finances whilst you're here, right? Because you don't necessarily become rich the moment you drop.
Exactly.
I know things were a little something. What I'm saying is that it's not always that green. So we'll do some, we'll have interactions, the things people go through. But if you have any ideas on like some kind of topics you would like us to interview people on and bring that content to you, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, this is in no way to advertise Living Ghana. We are just exploring what people are doing and bringing it to your attention,
right?
And their experiences, because there are people that have different motivations. We hope that whatever your answers are, you find them through this series.
Right. Yeah.
So the first question that I'll ask is, Senior man, why are people leaving?
My brother. I mean, it's obvious why people are leaving.
Assuming that people are leaving as many droves as people are saying, but why do you think people are leaving?
I know men too are. You see?
And men too are which now?
No. Well, you could argue that, but see, the thing is that I think like people look at their situations, right? And then say as a youth, young person growing up, your parents take care of you up until some point, and then it starts fading out, right?
Yep.
So you ask yourself, okay, what opportunities do I have? Let's say you are in Ghana, right? Or you are in any other African country. You're looking around you, well, maybe you're done with college, university, you're almost graduating, you're asking yourself, am I going to find work? Is the employment situation better? And then the political situation, because a lot of our destinies also depends on who becomes president and so on, unfortunately. So I think when you do that 360 view, and of course your family also kind of expects you to do well, which is not bad, right? So that you can send them something. So I think the short of it is people look at their, like the way forward to have a better life.
Essentially.
For themselves, for their families, and maybe their children down the road, right?
Exactly.
And then they weigh the two, and it's like, okay, it seems like I could find something better here. So I think that's a high level.
So the question that drops into my mind is, why has it increased in the last couple of years? Because it just seems like, I think migration has always been available to people in history, right? And I suppose that if you look at data, you might see spikes at a certain time. Where Germany went to and things like Libya. So right now, why is it something that has changed in the last couple of years or what?
If you take Ghana right now, for instance, right, we know that we've been through one of the biggest economic turmoils or problems, right? And so the point I made earlier of like you're looking for a better life, right? When things take such a huge downturn, right? You're like
lost investment.
I've lost investment. You put it. Let's say you are even saving small. Now they're telling you can't even have access to your money, right? So no jobs, inflation is runaway, right? It's killing you. Exchange rates, like when the macroeconomics, your pockets are not good. Right? And so it gets to a point where you've had enough. It's like there is no other way than to find a way and run away. You see what I did there? There's no other way, so you find a way and run away.
Wow. I don't know how hard that is, but I'll give you for a level. It's okay.
Unfortunately, though, but you want to have a better life.
I get messages every once in a while from friends. Asking about,
say, send them Momo.
No, not that. Like they are looking for ways to live.
So now you are the minister of. Would that be exterior?
Well, so people are always asking about opportunities. How did you even leave? Why did you leave? So just to pivot on that, right? And we're going to talk about our own personal stories.
Let's touch on that a little bit actually.
So me, I studied actuarial science in Ghana. I wanted to. This guy was in my class though.
Was I? Listen.
So that's how we knew each other. Actuarial science, KUST. I wanted to be an actuary, but it became very clear to me that the actuarial industry in Ghana was not very big. Okay, it was very clear that our class had like 120 people, right? About that. There are about 20 insurance companies in Ghana, and not all of them have actuaries. So our actuarial departments. And they do outsource some of those functions for some of the companies. Right. So if you want to be an actuary in Ghana, it's just a very small
Yeah.
in a class.
Yeah.
So then you have to look at, well, do I pivot into another profession, which is what a lot of our classmates ended up doing. Some went into banking, other things.
Actually, interestingly, I was talking to, as you bring this up, like I was talking to one guy when we were back in school. I think he was studying aerospace engineering.
Yeah.
And he had like this.
They
have these models where you can fly a plane on a computer.
Yeah.
He brought it to a hostel one time. We were all happy, we're flying.
And
then I took a step. I was like, yeah, like as an aerospace engineer in Ghana, like what is the career pathway, right? Because in my mind, I was like, well, these big airlines, if say they have issues, they probably will bring their own engineers.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what actually happens, right? But the bottom line is that I don't think we have a lot
for some of the courses that
demand.
we do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For those programs and the number of graduates that come out of it.
Exactly.
So right there and then, it's like we are producing a lot of graduates to be exported, kind of, right? So
for some of the programs, yes.
Yeah.
For me, that was my experience. I just thought this industry is too small for the number of people in my class.
It was too small for you.
No, not. It's too small for the number of people in my class.
Right.
Not considering people in other universities.
Or people who had our seniors
and
those who
our
were
juniors.
Yeah.
Charlie, I was like, Charlie, you have to look for other opportunities.
But you see, an argument could be made though that isn't the idea to have more of these professionals, right? They put their knowledge to work and then expand the industry to absorb more. Is that like necessarily?
I mean that is also
that's what's happening.
At the time, I mean, as a young guy thinking about my prospects, I don't know what I'm going to do to change the industry. Like I have to figure out. I have to figure out what I'm doing. I think my level of influence as a young graduate is not that extensive for me to be thinking about how I can change the industry, right?
Yeah, no.
My thoughts at the time is how do I, figure out something
better your life. Yes, but I was actually looking at it from the perspective of say the business folks, right? Even the universities, right?
Yeah.
If it's something, maybe we would do another story on this.
Definitely.
But like looking at it from a standpoint of, we are bringing out all these graduates, right?
How do we?
Yes, we may have 20 insurance companies, right? But the goal is not to stay at 20, right?
Yeah.
The goal is to bring in these folks who have studied these courses, right? They bring the ideas and they can help grow them.
That was when the economy has to be big enough for more than two. All of those things. At that point, Charlie, last. Yeah, and then I ended up speaking to a couple people. The environment in which I was as well there were people that were exploring that, right? In the math department, in the statistics and actuarial science, STEM courses, they usually have opportunities for further education outside of Ghana.
Yeah.
Because there are scholarships. Not that there aren't other courses, but like scholarships and stuff do tend to go towards the STEM field. So that's how come I ended up exploring going to graduate school and then eventually helping me to
but you try, you try, right?
As in,
you worked in Ghana a little bit after.
I mean, I did national service and then an extended a little bit of a so
and then reality hit you, no?
When you left, I was like
when reality hit you
when
small.
you left, and I was like, hey, but yeah. So what was you there? You just left.
Actually, it's funny. When I think back, it was as if this whole thing was planned. But up until final year, it wasn't necessarily like on my mind that when I graduate, I'm going to leave Ghana.
I don't think I thought about it too far.
Yeah, it was maybe we were just short-sighted, or maybe we talking. Yeah, so like you said, around final year, this senior, what happened? Oh, this senior, Charlie, go America. Hey, this senior, hey, go UK. Hey. Then you start asking yourself, hey, so first of all, I think that brought to perspective like, oh, so it's actually possible, right? Because let's take a step back. You are just graduating, right, with undergrad. you have a couple of options. You can either go out there, look for a job, or go to graduate school. It's not easy to find jobs, right? Unfortunately. Or go to graduate school. And graduate school, maybe you can do a master's or a PhD. I don't even think you can. I don't think you can do a PhD right from undergrad. It happened some time ago. I know for one of our lecturers. He was always talking about it. Anyways, but I don't think they allow that. So then it's a master's degree, right?
Yeah.
Which we also don't have a lot of, say, scholarships. Yeah. And I think that's one of the key points for us, at least, right? That, well, I don't have the money to go and pay for a master's degree in Ghana, right? I mean, I'm broke, right? Oh, Charlie. But then, then you hear that this senior got a scholarship, fully funded scholarship.
How do you do it?
How? Hey, you're like, this life thing is real.
And you're my cousin.
Though you start, messaging, emailing people, WhatsApping them. Oh, boss, I say
left.
Then I think that's how, it started becoming clearer and clearer that you could.
It's possible.
It's possible. There are these opportunities out there, and I hope that, and this is not to encourage people to leave, but the reality is that people
are sharing our experience.
Right? Just sharing our experience. I'm sure if people had known this from first year,
they would have
their approach to
And I think information is very powerful, because I'll tell you what. When I got to end of second year, right? I was talking to one of the TAs who was leaving. I was like, wow. Charlie, why? He said, I've got the scholarship. I was like, okay, Charlie, how did you do it? And then he started telling me about how, you have to speak to the graduate coordinator,
send emails.
And then he told me one thing. He was like, okay, you have to make sure that your last 60 credits, that's what they usually use to assess whether your GPA, even though you have a whole GPA for the 4 years, they use last 60 credits.
So that's why
and then I was like, hey,
like that. See, boys never share this information.
So you did. Hey, you left it. But anyway, so that was information is very powerful. Right?
Yeah.
That this thing is out there. You can actually access it and all of that. So anyway. Now you left
last, yes, we applied to schools. Fortunately, we got admitted to some schools in Ghana, in the US.
Hey, Ghana, we're Ghana now.
But Ghana, there, it's dear to our heart. We got the opportunities to come to America, and then the calls started coming. Hey, Boga, people will call you and be like,
how do you
feel?
Where feel? But did you feel like, of course, there's a certain excitement that comes with Charlie. May feel.
Yeah.
May where feel.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That type of thing. And then there's also the idea of packing your things into two suitcases, less than 50 kg.
Yeah, that limits you.
50 kg, okay, I'm going.
Yeah, I mean, this is not to
friends, family.
Yeah, not to come across as complaining.
No.
We're definitely glad of the opportunity we got. But the reality is that you have your friends, your family, like you said, right? Like you have your inner circle.
Yeah.
Ghana and your crowd at home.
And your crowd, at least between what's now and have to be table FIFA.
Yeah, exactly. And then complain about president and MPs and stuff. We talk and not contribute. But then for me personally, it actually hit me a little when I got on that flight. It was the first time I was on an airplane.
I've gone to Kumasi before, so.
With flights.
When I was doing national service.
Then that was good for you.
I'm not.
You're right.
Oh, seriously?
You had been on a flight before.
I'm working for an oil and gas company, remember?
Somebody needs that you do 50. Okay. Anyway, so on one hand, I'm also a very curious person. So when I got on the plane, I'd always been like,
but go on.
I've always been curious about, planes being able to fly and stuff like that. I know it sounds a little nerdy, but I'm not that boring, but I get fascinated about stuff like that. So on one hand, I was like just watching, wow, the wings, all these things. I'm like, wow, this is amazing, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, I was like, wow, like I've packed my entire life into 2 bags, you know, and I'm on this plane.
How do you feel about leaving me behind? Did you feel like
how did I feel? Yeah, I thought I was leaving.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah.
I thought I was leaving, but they're leaving you behind. I mean, we spoke at some point, and I think you were doing you were working in Ghana, so, and I felt you were making a lot of money. Maybe I felt wrong.
That's not what
so,
you don't know what
the long and short of it is that, at least for me, it hit me a little bit. And even so, I flew through, I remember with some other students from our class, we flew through Dubai, you know, and then Charlie, money too was an issue. So when we got to Dubai, they said, oh, do you want to go for a tour? Then I can't ask, they talk the price, you know, I said, okay, well, I'm gonna come. Oh, Charlie, I think they go come. So it was kind of a mixed feeling. I was excited about the opportunities, but I mean, it took some amount of courage. I don't know if I just
somebody. When I eventually went to school, started working, and I was talking to one of my colleagues who's a Caucasian guy, and he was like, he thinks it's very courageous that I left Ghana and came here. And at the time, I was like,
are you serious?
It's not courageous.
What must happen?
It's not courageous, but then I had to reflect back on leaving home, leaving my family and all of that, and you know, trying to see if I might get opportunities elsewhere in the world without any assurances really, because if you are in Ghana and things don't work out, I feel like there's a sense of home, there's a sense of like people, familiar people around and all of that. But when you leave, you are optimistic, but you're also not sure what is going to happen.
Foreign land.
It ended up, it's been good. I mean, I have to be frank and
it's been good.
I mean, Charlie, because I'm telling you that some friends of ours are still seeing that they found jobs and all of that. So
absolutely.
When I look at it from that perspective, I have no complaints. By God's grace, I'm able to. If I save and stuff, I'm able to go to Ghana and visit my family and all of that.
2 weeks and
then 2 weeks spare.
Come back.
2 weeks spare. That's all you get in a year as time off. But actually, you make do.
But you know, another thing is that even like after you arrive, right? You know, there's always these
shocks.
Yeah, these shocks.
I'll tell you a story. When I came, I was a graduate assistant, so a TA. These children that I'm teaching them in class, when they see me outside, I'm saying hi to them. They in the Midwest, so people are a little bit like they're different. You know, Ghana, when you see your TA, now I'm the TA. When I see my students outside, I'm even saying hi. So I can raise my hand and my hand will be there. He knows you in the class. He doesn't know you outside of the class. I was like, I
guess maybe on that actually. So, you know, in Ghana, let's say you are doing actuarial science, right? You all are taking the same classes with your colleagues, and you know, it's clear like you have this TA, that TA, you know, and so on. I don't know, but it could also be some of this where over here people pick and choose what classes, right? And I was like, oh, yo, now where is that?
That's one of like cultural shocks. Just in terms of relating to people, right? You just have to know how to go about relations, and it's not good, it's not bad, it's just different.
It's just different. Yes, absolutely. I think talking of different, you know, in Ghana, for instance, like when you see an elderly person, you good morning, right? And then they will go, good morning, how are you? And then you respond, I'm fine. But you don't ask the elderly person, how are you too? Right? If you do that, now, Omega just say, if I'm not fine, can you help me? But you see, but here, one thing I found is that, like, let's say even a whole professor could see you, unfortunately your TA, your students, but for graduate school, maybe you are more closer to the professor. Right? A professor could see you and then, you know, how are you doing? And you say, oh, I'm fine. But then, on one hand, if I don't ask how they are doing, it sounds like I'm not caring about, you know, them. But then, the Ghanaian in me is like,
Hey,
if he's not the penny now, I'll go beside how is he doing? You know. So that was another thing. Oh, one thing that surprised me again too was when I arrived.
Yeah.
Guy, I realized that everybody's clock was the same. That one, we have to talk about it. In Ghana, somebody will be so, we have, what's the time?
10:30.
10:32. We'll be sure the other year that 10:28.
Yeah.
We'll be there at 10:45.
Yeah, our concept of time.
Yeah, that was where, in Ghana, that's where we practice the real relativity.
Einstein theory is very working.
Yeah, but here it's like, you even go to the class and it's like all the clocks the same time, and I'm like, wow, that's it's a small thing, but I felt it was interesting. And then the winter came.
Yeah, I got here in winter, so I was suffering and that's hey,
guy, my first winter. You know, in Ghana, nobody checks the weather when they wake up.
You don't. So check it.
I mean,
the things Hamatan or
right.
Raining.
So me, I carried that attitude here. You know, I came in the fall, so it wasn't too cold yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll go to class, my normal jeans and maybe some loafers, kakrara between the toe, everything. And then one time I went for class, everything was okay. When after class, I can't look window, I see snow. I said, hey, what's going on here? I was in some loafers.
Yeah.
Oh, my guy, I had to walk for 10 minutes to go catch the bus. That was the longest 10 minutes in my life. Guy, see, we'll not go into details. But
there's just you know. So if so far you probably noticed that we both came through school. We both. I did a master's. Senior man went to do a master's and a PhD. Senior man,
how you doing?
Because you can challenge me, and that's that I can see. So and then we are working in the insurance industry. So that was our path, okay. And as part of our migration series, we will definitely go into the path of many others.
Right.
What their stories have been. We will even go into things like relationship safe and things.
Why they look me? Look into the camera.
So there's multiple dimensions that we can take this immigration stuff, and we are hoping to bring you stories,
and things like career opportunities. Right? When you come in, like, okay, so let's say you are coming for school, right? After school, then what? Do you even wait till you're done with school before you start thinking about some of these things, right? And then how do you even take care of, like, plan your finances, right? So that, Charlie, the small that you have, you get some. And then remittances, because, I mean, the family back home, they have helped you. I mean, you can't. So you have to send Momo, right? So, how do you navigate stuff like that? Because sometimes, maybe if the family might not know that you are still in school. And the money you are getting is not a lot. To them, America. And then they'll say, grandma has swallowed knife, bring money.
No, please, that's not my fault.
Maybe sometimes you mind your own business. Homework. You're trying to do your homework. So we'll get people to share their stories about how they are navigating those, what approaches are working for them, what approaches are not, right? And then
I think we will also talk about business even, because as personally, right, and I said this to somebody one time, living outside of Ghana, I always long for opportunities to, like, do something back home, right? Do something back home, and I eventually move back home, right?
Okay.
So, but the whole point is there's always a feel, like the longing and the feeling. Still now we're Ghana.
I think like really it's like
we also want to bring some of those stories. How do you do something back home? How do you set up a system to effectively run something when you are not there?
Right. So you can actually go back home, because it's so easy to say, I want to go back home.
How do you even go back? How do you plan to
because you also nice BB so, right? You go there, but once you arrive, So we'll bring you more content in this series. That's the approach, because we want to let folks know how people go, how people, or what people go through when they arrive, what opportunities are there, what are they taking advantage of, and what they are potentially doing back home, and the pathway to doing that.
And of course, we'll bring you trendy things, Ghanaian, African politics, and all of that. We are not leaving that on the table.
Yeah, no, absolutely. On this channel, we talk about the important things. That the things that matter that you need to be aware of and listening to. So let us know if there are any more
are there questions about our experience.
Yeah, if you have questions about our experiences, let us know in the comments. We'll be happy to
address them in further videos. And if there are any topics that you are interested in, right? Whether you are in Ghana right now or you are living in the diaspora, is there anything interesting that you want us to talk about? You want us to share?
Yeah.
You want us to make people aware of and all of those things.
Yeah.
We are very happy to go into all of those topics.
And particularly for those in the diaspora too, if you want to share your story,
definitely
just reach out to us. We want to document a lot of these experiences so that folks would know. I'll leave you Charlie. Yeah, so yes, keep watching Gongsman TV. We're so glad the viewership has been great. The conversation, don't forget to subscribe, please.
Definitely. And put on the notification so that when we post any video, it will ding on your phone.
This series is going to be banger. It's going to be phenomenal, right? So if you're already here, you have your own experiences, sure, right? But it helps a lot to learn more about other people's experiences, so you can sort of form make your own decisions and decide what pathways you want to take. If you're not here yet, right, then it also helps, right, to know what possibilities are there. So,
all right, do stay tuned. Again, like, share, subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.